We must free ourselves of the hope that the sea will ever rest. We must learn to sail in high winds. Aristotle Onassis.
We are east of San Salvador Island in the Bahamas on our way to Puerto Rico. It's the first morning, so we've had one night at sea so far, and it's going pretty nice. We took off from the Bahamas with more or less zero wind, and zero winds in the forecast for the next 12 to 18 hours. I was kind of hoping that we would actually have the north wind of about 10 knots by now, but as you can see behind me, it is almost dead calm out here. We're motoring along with one engine at 5 knots, so we're not making terrible speed, and the waves are just great. There's a nice swell, super easy going. It was easy to sleep last night. But that's where we are now. It's night 2 of our passage to Puerto Rico from the Bahamas. It started out nice. It was nice and calm. We were motoring at about 5 knots, sometimes even 7 knots when we had the current behind us. But then the wind picked up like it was forecast to do. About 20 knots or so. So it's making for quite the ride right now in the middle of the night. All you can do is hear the waves crashing in the darkness. If you want to check out this, we are out here basically all alone except for some Carnival cruise ship, and we are doing 5 knots basically with a 21 knot, 22 knot wind off the port side, and that is because we have taken in the head sail. We have the first reef in our main, trying to calm the boat down a little bit because it was screaming along. Which was great, but the bad thing was that the waves are kicking up a little bit too. We have waves that are crashing all the way up on top of the hardtop above us from the sea. So that is like a, call it 15-foot break. Not all of them are like that obviously, but every once in a while we get a nice one that just comes over the side of everything and gets poor Sophia wet all the way over here. Sophia's got her bed on the floor now because it was too wavy up on the bench. That looks good. How you doing down here with all the seas?
Seasick.
Are you seasick?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's a little bumpy out there. It's over 20 knots now.
Is it really?
Yeah, I took down the Genoa entirely.
Yeah. Feels like we're flying.
Yeah, we're actually only doing about 5.5, 6 knots.
Really?
Yeah. It's
That's
just
the wave.
Yeah, it's so wavy.
Tuna melt.
With bacon?
With bacon.
Why?
The bacon's on the side.
Why are we having bacon?
The freezer broke and Mr. Fix-It Man wasn't able to fix it. Gotta wait till we get to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Get some parts. Actually, no parts. A whole new freezer.
Yeah, probably. It's 15 years old.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Work on more stuff on the boat. That's what you're gonna do. We are just north of the Dominican Republic on our way to Puerto Rico. The first part of the trip wasn't too bad. We motoring in calm seas, calm winds. And then we had to go through a couple of storms for a night or two, which was fun, trying to get around those, not get too wet and still find decent wind. And now we are sailing in 15 knots of wind, moving along at 8.5 knots, which is actually pretty good for me because I am not the best sailor in the world. But one of the problems is we're not going where we want to go. So when you sail, one of the issues is tacking. So I don't know if this is going to come up real well, but this is our track, this yellow line. You can see we're chugging along, going where we want to go. Then we got this big angle, and that is where we had to tack. So we went south, had to come back, and now we're heading south again. Problem is we don't want to go south. That's where Dominican Republic is. We want to go to southeast, where Puerto Rico is. So it's going to be a lot of tacking, back and forth, trying to get to where we want to go. Sailing's fun. All right, so a couple things to look at on these two instruments here. We have true wind speed, 13, speed over ground, 6.5, which isn't too bad. And then we have a VMG, or velocity made good. This is a correlation of not only your speed over ground, but also the direction you want to go. So since we are not going to our waypoint, we are not going 7 knots, we are going 4.5 towards our waypoint. Which is why it kind of stinks when you got to tack back and forth. You're losing basically, what is that, 3 knots that you could be doing to your waypoint, are just lost going the opposite direction. We are about 3 hours away from Puerto Rico right now. So the trip is almost finally over. All we have to do is go in, get some fuel, go to our slip, and start cleaning up the boat. Whenever we get done with the trip, we like to put the boat back together. We'll wash off the outside, get all the salt water off, clean everything on the inside real quick. It doesn't have to be spick and span exactly, but just enough to where you don't feel salt on everything that we touch. It's been a good trip. We had some good winds, 25, even gusting up to 30 in portions. And then we also had periods of dead calm, especially when we first left the Bahamas. It was crazy. Just you could see your reflection of the boat in the ocean. It was so calm. Had to do some tacking coming back against the trade winds, which wasn't always a good time. When I went westbound from St. Thomas to Florida on Teddy J's boat, Asante, it was so much easier. Basically, we just set the sails. I think we jibed like 3 times or something. If you can check out the video for that in the link above. But this time was a little bit different. A lot more motoring, a lot more tacking, a lot longer trip. We didn't go quite the same distance, and it took us 6 days. And it took us, I think, 7 days to go from St. Thomas to Florida. But be sure to follow along when we get into Puerto Rico and see what we do in there. We'll see you guys next time.
Now I'm ready to see, I'm ready